Welcome to SchneiderB FM. This is the podcast to help you use the internet to market your school in order to achieve your enrollment goals. I'm your host, Brendan Schneider. Welcome to episode 19, where my guest today is Risa Engel. Risa is the Director of Marketing and Communications at Stuart Country Day School. You might have heard of Stuart Country Day School because of their Lead Like a Girl initiative, their Lead Like a Girl campaign, which is really cool. But that's not what today's podcast is about. Today's podcast is about project management and the tool that Risa uses in order to keep herself and her team on task. The fun part is at the end of the podcast, because I love tools, we start going down the rabbit hole of talking about different tools that we use and different tools that we like. Now, Risa is really smart. She's really good at what she does, and I enjoyed my conversation with her. I know you will as well. But before we get started, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Do you want to know the secret to creating the best private school website? The truth is, website redesigns don't have to be long, arduous, can't wait until it's over projects. The secret to avoiding the mess? Planning. Blackbaud K-12 has some interesting ideas on improving the school website redesign process. Whether your school is looking to redesign this year or in 3 years, their new ebook, How to Design the Best Private School Website, will help you plan ahead. Please download your free copy today at my special link, SchneiderB.com/Blackbaud. Risa, welcome to SchneiderB FM.
Thank you, Brendan. I'm so happy to be here.
Great. Well, I'm really excited to have you here. And for people who don't know you, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Risa Engel. I'm the Director of Communications at Stuart Country Day School. We're a girls' independent day school for preschool through 12 in Princeton, New Jersey.
Great. Well, this episode really came out of a conversation you and I had a little bit ago about the success of your Lead Like a Girl initiative. So this podcast is not about that initiative, but could you quickly share some details about your Lead Like a Girl campaign?
Sure. Lead Like a Girl started out as a branding initiative, and it's actually hashtag Lead Like a Girl, a conference for risk takers and change makers. And it's a free conference that we host on the Stuart campus. It's designed to showcase and inspire girls' confidence and creativity in STEM, entrepreneurship, and leadership. We've had it now for 2 years. April will be our third, but in the last 2 years, we've hosted nearly 2,000 K through 12 students, parents, teachers, mentors on campus from across the country.
So that's super amazing. And actually, just as a reminder, if you're listening to this now, anything that we talk about, links or URLs, I'll make sure in the show notes. And although this isn't about Lead Like a Girl, it really is incredible. So what we'll do is I'll get some info from Risa, and then we'll put those in the show notes if that's okay.
Absolutely. Actually, I just want to pitch that we just opened our call for proposals.
Oh, wonderful. Good. Well, we'll put that stuff in the show notes. That's great.
Terrific.
Yeah. So really what happened, though, so I said this isn't about Lead Like a Girl, but what came up in that conversation and what stuck out to me was the level of organization in your office and how you were talking about project management, and you had a big focus there. So that's the topic for today. So the big question I have for you, have you always been this organized?
So it's so funny that you should ask me that because I'm so glad you think I'm an organized person. I'm actually naturally a bit all over the place. I can get super distractive. I have a very sort of half creative brain, and I can get completely lost in creativity if I let myself go. So it's really important that I stay on task, and I have had to develop skills and use tools to do that for myself.
Well, that's probably a typical Marcom person trait. You know, we're creative, but we have to get the job done.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. So do you think that the organization in your office came from you needing to be more organized?
Well, I'll tell you that the need for organization came just from the sheer volume of project work in our office. And I have been looking for organizational tools since I started working at Stuart about 8 years ago. And it took us a few years before we found something that worked for us.
Great segue. What was it? What did you find?
So at Stuart, we use a product called Asana. People are probably familiar with it. It's a pretty popular project tracking and collaboration tool.
And then just as a kind of an aside, why did you select Asana? Did you guys evaluate other things?
Well, I did use other sort of tried other free or inexpensive products along the way. But actually, Asana was introduced to us by our head of school. She brought Asana into the organization and had all of leadership trained on the product and sort of got us all up and running. And we did a few projects at the leadership level with it. And I was very excited about it. And so I brought it into the communications office, actually into the advancement office, and asked that the development team also use it, especially when they were working with us.
So before we narrow down to your space, so does the whole admin team at your school use it?
Nope.
No, okay.
No, our department really was the only place where it stuck.
Okay.
It's just like any other tool. You have to use it. It's sort of like you have to develop a habit and continue using it. And when you sort of get off the bandwagon, you got to get back on. And I think that our department was just so motivated by what we saw in results from it that I kept it going.
One of the things that you said, and I'd like to reinforce, is you kind of fall off the wagon, you have to get back on. Because I know Asana pretty well and tried to use it with my team, and it just didn't stick. In looking back, it was probably my fault and not my team's fault. We ended up switching to Trello.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, we switched to Trello. It's not quite as powerful, I don't think, but it's the tool that worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worked for us. So we've kept going, but I know Asana. It's really awesome. Let's jump into when you finish their results. How has it helped you? Are you able to measure increased productivity, better efficiency, stuff like that? How has it helped you?
Sure. So at the very beginning, I'll have to say that I measured the success of the product because my actual working hours decreased, I would say between, I don't know, maybe even 10 to 20%. It just helped to put everything in one place. So I wasn't scrambling for emails or documents, and I found that I was much more efficient.
Risa, that's incredible.
Yeah, actually, I used to be the person that works 80 hours a week. Yeah. And honestly, I don't anymore. And, I will check my email. I may work on a particular project on the weekend, but I used to work all weekend, all the time.
Well, I don't think that, I think that's something that's a lot of people feel, and probably a lot of people listening now are like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to jump off there because that's so incredible.
It was absolutely amazing. and no, really, it really changed the way I approach my job and how we approached work in our department. We were so scattered. There's so many projects going at once, and whoever's in your face at that moment is the one who gets your attention. And in addition to putting a tool in place, we also put some processes in place in working with our, for other people to work with us. And to stick with them was difficult. But we do a little birthday celebration in our department. So we have birthday buddies. And the year that I instituted Asana, I got a basket from my birthday buddy that was basically the Asana basket.
What was in the Asana basket?
Oh, she had, I don't remember. It was branded Asana, though. I don't remember what was exactly in it because I was kind of known as the Asana police.
So the Asana,
Yeah, if you wanted work or needed something out of the communications office, you needed to put it in Asana.
That's brilliant. So here's the chicken or the egg question. Did the processes come before Asana, or did the processes flow out of Asana?
We did have processes in place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we stuck to them as well as we did once Asana was in place.
Okay. Can you share some of the processes that you've added that have been really beneficial?
So when we work with another department in the school, for example, development, if there is, for example, an annual fund campaign mailer that needs to go out, then we'll sit down and have a planning meeting. And during that planning meeting, the tasks that need to happen get recorded in Asana and due dates get assigned. And typically we'll back out from the date the mailer needs to be in homes.
Yeah.
And we'll use the calendar in Asana and we'll back out the dates, but immediately the tasks are in Asana, the dates are assigned, and so are the people. And now that we've been using it for a few years, I can copy an archived project and the tasks are all there. I can leave the same people assigned to it and just assign new dates.
So I think I know what you're talking about. Let me see if I can repeat it because this is such an awesome feature. So if you do something every year, let's say it's the annual report, you can have the annual report as a project, and then next year is it copying that?
Yes, you just copy the entire project.
And then you can adjust the dates, correct?
Well, you can copy it with no dates, or you
Okay.
can copy it and change the dates.
That alone's got to save you a ton of time.
A ton of time.
Yeah.
A ton of time in planning, but a ton of time even just in meetings. Think about it. You know, how many times do you go back to the same project that you did the year before? And much of what we do is similar.
Sure.
You know, the product itself might change. It might change the way it looks, or the dates may change slightly. But typically, the project itself, the bones of it, the structure, remain the same.
And most likely, if you're like our office, we do things yearly, and sometimes we forget the steps. So something like that would be really awesome. Just copy.
Even if you don't forget the steps, you got to think about it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, even if you receive something in an email as an attached document, you know, you got it around this date. What would I have called it? You know, where would I have put it?
Yeah.
And so we typically try to immediately attach things within Asana, and it's there.
Oh, that's so awesome. Now, what about, that was a project, I think, that was internal to your office. What if the admission staff says we need XYZ? Does that start with a meeting again?
Typically, I've been sitting in on the admissions meetings every other week, so we have some planning that happens during those meetings. If there are particular pieces that they need, or some sort of service that they need out of our office, then yes, they would say they'll give us a date, and we might sit down with them and plan it out the same way as we do in Asana.
Okay, so basically the same thing, but and then are you the Asana police? Like, are you the one always checking and keeping people on task then, or does Asana allow people to do a little bit of that themselves?
It actually encourages people to do it themselves, because you can assign somebody else a date and they can change it.
Okay.
So, you know, I may be assigning dates based on my needs, but that might not fit in with somebody else's schedule. And so you can change your own dates, and I encourage people to do that. Now, mind you, we're kind of getting back on the saddle again with Asana. I've had a change in staff, and so I'm getting back in there.
Yeah, but I think that's what you said earlier on. I mean, this is it sounds like it's work put in that you get out later, so it benefits you, and you've seen the results.
Absolutely.
Are you able to then, Risa, put your own to-dos in, like other things that you have going on, or do you keep that separately? Yeah.
You know, I'm the kind of person that if something's going to take me 5 minutes or less, I tend to do it right then and there. Yeah. So I don't have super long lists of things that I have to do, like at the beginning of the day, that are new. But I do go in and put tasks that take some, you know, that I anticipate will take some time, or that they're not related to a project. I can just put them in as tasks and assign them to myself and put a due date on them. And then at the beginning of every day, you can check in and see, what do I have on my schedule that I need to get done today. And sometimes I still, you know, will write those things down on a notepad right next to me, and I have a whiteboard in front of me, and I'll put the major projects up there, even though they're in Asana. Yeah. I still want to have them in front of my face, you know, so when the head of school comes in and says, what are you working on?
There you go. You just point. That's great. No, I use, actually, as digital as I am, I use a hybrid system as well. And there's just something about writing things down. At least that helps.
No, I was just going to say, there's something about crossing something off.
Well, that too, that's huge. That's super exciting.
I feel so accomplished.
It does. Now, how would you recommend someone get started if they're interested in project management?
Well, I'd just say, you know, look around, do some research, and pick one that has a free trial, or that allows you to, you know, check it out. Or Asana, actually, we use it, and we use the free product.
Oh, get out.
So, no, we do.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't even pay.
I was going to ask how much it costs, but so what would you gain by paying? Do you even know? But doesn't matter.
Yes, there are some benefits. There's a Gantt feature now, a Gantt chart feature, which I actually have gone in and tried to find add-ons to do Gantt charts with it. Okay. There is a feature that allows you to split a project or a task between two people, which I can't do now.
Okay.
So there are a couple of things, but nothing that I feel like I really must have.
So one, we've taken that barrier away. It's free. Two, do they have good training resources? Did you just learn by playing in Asana? Was there something you read, or was there something outside that you found?
So they do have pretty good training videos,
Okay.
but I will say that when our head of school brought the product to all of us in leadership, she did bring in trainers from Asana.
Oh, wow.
I don't know that they were actual Asana employees or if they were consultants who were hired to come in and do the training. But we had, I believe, 2 half days of training, but then I actually trained people at the school because I loved it so much.
Okay.
I believed in it.
Well, yeah, and that's why we're talking. But it sounds like people don't have to spend money to bring in people to train or,
No.
Do training.
No. You just have to you just have to put in a little time.
Yeah.
It's really actually not a super complicated product. It's relatively straightforward and intuitive. It's got a great user interface. It's easy, to figure out if you're at all tech savvy. And it has a mobile version as well.
Oh, I forgot about that. So, I was going to say, so it's on your phone, so you never get away from it, but we never get away from work anyway, so what's the big deal?
Yeah, you know what? I have to say, I don't use it as much on my phone. It's really, for me, a desktop tool.
Yeah, just to kind of keep it separate.
Yeah.
So you've been using it for a while now. Any tips or tricks or lessons that you've learned that you would share? Like if you had to start over again.
If I had to start over again, or I guess the way I use it now is differently than the way I used it when I started.
Okay.
I would say that just be very thoughtful about how you're organizing projects and your tasks. The product is very person-oriented, so think about the project in terms of who's doing what, really.
You mean in terms of naming the project or in terms of assigning tasks within the project?
Yeah, in terms of assigning tasks within the project.
Okay.
I don't know if that's great.
No, I think it makes sense. But again, here's what I think the most important about tools like this is that Asana has created something that you guys have kind of molded and worked for you. And,
yes.
And if I was using it with my team, because we're different people, it would be a little different. And somebody listening might do it a little differently. So, I think that's okay.
And there are so many tools out there. We use other collaborative tools as well. We use Slack at Stuart. We use Slack for sharing social media photos. There are different people within the school that contribute to our social media. So we will ask them to upload photos and little captions to Slack. And then we'll pull those into the communications department and post on social.
That's awesome. So you officially won. You're the coolest. That you guys, I love Slack, but people don't get it.
Yeah, I actually used it for the first time. I went to Social Media Marketing World out in San Diego.
You told me and I'm jealous. I got to go. I know.
Oh my gosh. It's an amazing, amazing conference. I wish I could go every year. Oh. It's like so overload steroids, unbelievable. Every single workshop and session is phenomenal.
But there are people there. That's our people.
Those are our people.
That's why we got to go. But how did you find Slack there?
So when you signed up, they introduced you to a Slack channel, and actually I joined the education one, and I think I joined some other one that of an interest, right? So they were like interest or industry verticals type channels. And I became the education manager of the Slack channel there.
Of course you did. That's awesome.
But it was great. I loved it. There's so much conversation that happens. It's such a free exchange of ideas kind of tool. It's awesome.
Do you feel in your use at school, it's cut down on email?
Slack?
Yeah.
Well, actually for what we use it for, it allows us to collaborate in a way that was not possible through email.
Oh, talk to me more. Talk to me more about that.
Because when you're using Slack, it's a group, right? So anybody who you want to can subscribe to the channel. It's sort of like a group text type environment, but it's organized, right? By theme or by channel. We created a channel for the robotics team on Slack so that when they wanted to upload photos that we could share, they did that. We also had like a communications office Slack channel that was only open to those of us in communications. But, if you think of it as like a group chat or a group text, that you can upload photos or documents and chat in. That's kind of how we used it.
That's awesome. Just so for people that might be confused, within the interface of Slack, Risa's using the word channel. And I mean, I think your group text analogy is really good. So each channel has a theme, and you can use permissions to give people access to certain channels, or what it is certain group chats. So
right.
it's I don't want people to think it's like typing on your iPhone or that. I mean, it's much more elegant, I think, in terms of the interface, and the ease of use is much easier. But it's a very cool tool, man. You got them all going on. That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
That's really cool. Any other cool tools before we get off here that you guys are using? Asana, Slack?
You know what we started using last year? Have you seen the product ThankView?
Oh, no. Talk to me about this. What is this?
Well, it's not really a productivity tool, but it's a video email marketing tool.
Oh, okay. I think I know. Keep going.
Yeah, it's really cool, actually. You basically send a video, and it comes in an envelope, kind of like a paperless post, but instead of an invitation, you get a video.
I have seen this.
Yeah,
I didn't know that's what it was called. So how long have you guys used it?
We started using it last year.
And what do you think?
I think it's great. I think people like to get the videos. It's something different. Mm-hmm. It's different than the way other people might market to them. I think our alumni really love it because they get to see the kids. We'll put videos out of kids, or even our alums that work at the school. Or what the best was when we put the person who's in charge of maintenance at Stuart, Tony. He's been at Stuart 40 years, and everybody loves Tony. Yeah. So we put Tony in a video for our annual fund.
Oh, people must have gone crazy.
They did. They loved it.
That's awesome.
Who doesn't want to get a video in your email?
Now, is that video personalized for each recipient?
Can be.
Can be. Okay. Because I was thinking, since we're going down the rabbit hole of tools, have you used Bonjoro or BombBomb?
No, but I think that ThankView is similar to BombBomb.
Okay.
Maybe.
It's similar, yeah. Just so everybody knows, I'll put the links in the show notes so that you
they're
can
great
check these
people
tools out,
too at ThankView.
Okay. And then Slack is free, although you can pay more, but I'm not sure why anybody would.
Yeah, Slack is great.
And ThankView is a fee, correct?
Yes.
That's a fee.
Definitely.
And the other ones you can use for trial. So, Risa, any more tools? You're on a roll here.
You talk enough about HubSpot, so.
Yeah, that's true. I know you guys are HubSpot too. Yeah, we'll do another. That'll be a separate podcast episode. But okay, well, if you don't have anything else, this has been great. But I want to make sure people know where to find you. Where should they go find you?
Sure. Welcome to email me directly at RENGEL at stuartschool.org. That's STUART school.org. Or you can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter at Risa Engel.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure to have those links in the show notes. Risa, I can't thank you enough, and I hope our paths cross sometime soon.
I'd love to see you again soon. Take care. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for listening. But before you go, can I ask a favor? I would love for you to leave an honest review of this show on iTunes. Reviews are the way that more people can find the show, and we can get the word out, and we can help more people market their school. I've made it easy for you, so if you go to SchneiderB.com/iTunes, it'll take you right where you need to leave the review. So thanks very much, and until next episode.